A man was arrested for threatening a mass shooting during an event at the FedEx Forum in Memphis.
At Elijah Hyman's first court hearing on Monday, he claimed he was suffering from mental illness after a breakup with his girlfriend. Next, our nation's Marcus Hunter was in the courtroom and has the story.
Monday morning, Elijah Hyman was in court facing 30 counts of attempted murder and other charges after he admitted he was planning to shoot concert goers as they left FedEx Forum after Yo Gotti's birthday bash. In front of the judge, Hyman's lawyer entered a plea of not guilty, citing mental health issues.
Mr. Hyman reached out for help. 911 actually flagged down an officer for help. He was in crisis.
Hyman was initially placed on a $50,000 bond, which his parents posted. However, before he could be released, an order was sent down to hold him without bond.
He is going to stay in custody. He is not going to ask to be released on bond. That is for his safety, and more importantly, the safety of the community.
Sometime during the next 3 weeks, Hyman will receive a mental health evaluation before going before the judge again. Memphis police say inside of his apartment, which overlooks FedEx Forum, officers found several weapons, including a rifle with a scope and suppressor.
I have to ask you about law if you have a gun permit. That's a yes or no question.
I am concerned about that, although the law now is you don't need a permit, you don't need anything, you just pass a background check and get as many weapons as you want. There's no need for a gun permit.
Hyman's lawyer says despite the guns, despite the broken window and the binoculars laying next to it, they don't believe he actually took any steps towards hurting anyone.
The broken window, I believe at the end of the day, we're going to find out has to do with a relationship that had ended that he was having problems with.
His next court date is August 8th.
Hyman did receive a mental health evaluation and was charged with commission of the act of terrorism. Rapper Yo Gotti responded on Twitter thanking the Memphis Police Department for acting quickly and keeping attendees of the concert safe.
Now, your Weather Authority forecast with Chief Meteorologist Danielle Dozier.
Well, it's a beautiful look outside I-565 at Greenbrier Road. We have plenty of sunshine. We've got a little bit of a breeze out of the southwest here this afternoon. It's 87 and a dew point of 68. So still, we do have that humid feel to the air. Wanted to let you know it's fairly quiet. Looks like a little showers popped up north of Fort Payne and DeKalb County. The rest of us are currently dry. Visible satellite shows all that abundant cloud cover we were tracking earlier this morning has since started to fade away in many locations where you're seeing that white shaded color. That's where we still have a few clouds that are streaming on through, but a lot of us are seeing that sunshine. It's 86 up in Fayetteville, 88 in Meridianville. Arab, you're checking in right now, 87. Moulton, the same. If you do have to get out and mow your lawn or whatever you're doing here this evening, temperatures are still going to be pretty warm at 5 o'clock, still holding in the upper 80s. 6 o'clock temperature right around 84, and by 7 we're still in the low 80s. Winds will be generally out of the southwest between 5 and 10 miles per hour. We're also noticing about a 40% chance of a shower or a thunderstorm. I think this chance is going to come deeper into the evening hours, though, for much of us, not just Huntsville. So I'm going to show you that Futurecast computer weather model, let you know the latest timeline on any storms for tonight, coming up in about 10 minutes.
In news from across the state of Alabama, a man convicted of capital murder in 1999 for the deaths of 3 people is set to be executed September 22nd. Authorities say on August 5th, 1999, Alan Miller shot and killed Lee Holbrooks and Scott Yancey at a business in Pelham. Miller then drove a few miles to Post Air Gas, where he shot a man named Terry Javis. A witness then called police, who tracked down Miller's truck on the highway. Miller's testimony says that he was suffering from delusions and afraid that the victims were spreading rumors that he was gay. Before issuing his execution date, Miller submitted an appeal but was rejected by the U.S. Supreme Court last October. An inmate found dead at the William Donaldson Correctional Facility down in Bessemer. The Jefferson County Coroner's Office says a 45-year-old inmate had been transported to UAB Hospital June 24th after being assaulted by another inmate. On July 14th, he was released from the hospital and received further care at the infirmary at the prison. He was found unresponsive and pronounced dead early Sunday morning. The man was serving a sentence for a 2011 burglary conviction out of St. Clair County. The Alabama Department of Corrections is investigating the death circumstances.
Members of a charitable trust named after a former Alabama Secretary of State have filed a lawsuit against Regions Financial Corporation. That lawsuit claims the company mismanaged a charitable trust named for Mabel Amos. The company was allegedly charging high fees and steering scholarship money to children of the trust board members. That lawsuit goes on to say Regions began charging higher fees when oil was discovered on Mabel Amos's property. AL.com reports that lawsuit was filed on July 7th by family members of Amos. A lioness, Aliki, died at the Birmingham Zoo after being attacked by another lion today. Her injuries happened during an introductory meeting with a male lion to be her new companion. Deputy Director for the Birmingham Zoo, Holly Collehesen, says, quote, animal introductions are always risky because wild animals can be unpredictable and we cannot control their interactions, end quote. The lion, named Josh, was brought in April to the Birmingham Zoo to replace an African lion named Kwanzaa, who had 2 cubs with Aliki in 2011. Birmingham Zoo officials say the loss of any animal is always sad and unexpected. A lawsuit against the Alabama Department of Labor argues the state failed thousands of people who lost work during the pandemic because of delays in unemployment payments. That lawsuit is being re-examined by a Montgomery County judge. It alleges Alabamians faced long delays in getting unemployment during the early stages of COVID, and some are still waiting on answers to applications filed in 2020. Many who were denied later appealed, but never got a hearing. That's according to the suit. In May, Judge James Anderson ruled in favor of the Department of Labor, which argued that sovereign immunity protects state agencies and their officials from lawsuits. AL.com reports Legal Services Alabama Policy Director Michael Fortin says his group will likely appeal if the judge decides to dismiss this case.
If you have old traffic warrants or maybe a misdemeanor with the town of Falkville, 2 upcoming amnesty days are heading your way. Wanted persons are encouraged to go ahead and surrender to authorities at the Falkville Municipal Building from 7 a.m. to 4 p.m. on Saturday, July 23rd, and from 3 to 7 p.m. on Monday, July 25th. Town officials say this is to really provide fugitives a chance to have their cases heard in a safe and nonviolent environment. They hope that the amnesty days will reduce the risk to law enforcement, other citizens, and fugitives as well. Well, the Olympic and Paralympic Games will be held in Los Angeles beginning August 14th, 2028. This will be the first time that Los Angeles will host the Paralympic Games. Los Angeles Mayor Eric Garcetti announced Monday that the grand ceremony is going to take place at the LA Memorial Coliseum and SoFi Stadium.
Yeah, let's just do it.
Well, day 2 of SEC Media Days is underway. Today's a day that plenty of people in the Yellowhammer State are watching closely.
Oh, they are. Alabama Crimson Tide taking the stage in Atlanta, and Sports Director Olivia Whitmire has more from the College Football Hall of Fame.
Back in 2016, when former Bob Jones standout Kendall Randolph was choosing where he wanted to play for his college career, he picked the Alabama Crimson Tide over several other SEC programs. Now, 6 years later, Randolph is entering his final season wearing a crimson and white uniform, choosing to come back in 2022 for one more year. When Heisman Trophy winning quarterback Bryce Young was asked about Randolph and what he means to this team, he had nothing but high praises for his teammate.
Dolph, man, that's my guy. A great guy. He's been with us for a while. So obviously a great leader. He's someone who has a lot of perspective. Always knows what to do. Always knows where to be. And someone who works super hard. That's someone that I'm really cool with. He definitely hasn't gotten the recognition that I feel like he deserves. But he's definitely instrumental in us. He's been a big part of the offense for the past couple of years. And, now obviously he's looking to take that next step, and he's definitely going to be big for us on the field and off the field as a leader. He's really instrumental for us.
And it was just so great to hear Bryce say such positive words about one of our local guys, and we are certainly looking forward to seeing Kendall suit up for one more season down in T-Town. For now, reporting in Atlanta, Olivia Whitmire, News 19 Sports.
And coming up tonight on News 19 at 5, we'll tell you a little bit of a fun fact about Nick Saban that you might not know. Stay tuned.
Coming up, Russia's President Putin goes to Iran this morning seeking support for his war on Ukraine. The latest on that conflict when we come back.
Now, your Weather Authority forecast, sponsored by Greenway of the Shoals, a new way, the right way. GreenwayoftheShoals.com.
Welcome back. You're looking at video from earlier today where we had the cloud cover. We did have some scattered showers and thunderstorms. Some of you might have even woken up during the overnight and early this morning from some of that thunder. Right now, we're seeing beautiful conditions, but we have to talk about this heat, and it's going to be dangerous heat over the next few days. We have excessive heat warnings for parts of the plains, the southern plains, and all the way into Arkansas, western Mississippi. We have heat advisories here across the northern third of Alabama and even parts of west central Alabama. This heat advisory will go into effect for our area tomorrow at 11 o'clock and continue until 6 p.m. Wednesday for the areas in orange. This is because heat index values will be up over 105 degrees in many locations throughout the day tomorrow. Live check of the radar right now. We do have just a few spots of rain going on in DeKalb County. This is what the radar looked like earlier. I've got a loop over the last 8 hours. You can see the unsettled weather that was moving through. Had that flash flood warning for parts of DeKalb and Marshall County earlier. Had some scattered showers and storms across northwest Alabama, but everything is settled down for now. Temperature-wise, we're in the upper 80s to low 80s in Fort Payne, where it's 83. It's 87 in Arab. Dew points are in the upper 60s, even a few low 70s out across northwest Alabama. Mid 70s, though, in Scottsboro, so really a tropical feel to the air there and in Fort Payne. Feels like 99 in Scottsboro. It feels like 91 in Fort Payne. It feels like 91 in Huntsville right now. And the feels like out in Muscle Shoals is 95 degrees. And I'm afraid to say it's going to get even worse over the next few days. More on that in a second. Tomorrow morning, we're looking at lows in the upper 60s for Fort Payne, but low mid 70s elsewhere across the Tennessee Valley. It's going to be great pool weather, but of course, you're going to need that sunscreen and reapply it often. Drink plenty of water when you're out and about, especially late day. High temperatures are forecast right around 96 degrees. We will have occasional breezes with gusts up to about 20 miles per hour. We also will have a chance for a pop-up shower or a thunderstorm. 97 out in the Shoals tomorrow, 95 in Athens, 94 in Meridianville, upper 80s to near 90 for Fort Payne. Taking a look at our dew point forecast, as you see by Wednesday, still looking at the low to mid 70s, even into Thursday, low to mid 70s. It looks like maybe a little bit of a break, but still sticky to uncomfortable on Friday. And then dew points are going to go right back up for the weekend. So the tropical feel, the theme is really for that to continue with the temperatures in the mid 90s. The heat index values will be between about 100 and 107 degrees. As far as the rest of this evening, we do have a chance for a few showers or thunderstorms to develop. So have an umbrella with you if you have any dinner plans, just in case. A lot of this activity looks to be along or east of I-65 and also during the overnight period. As we head into tomorrow and especially the afternoon, the entire Tennessee Valley will have a chance for a pop-up shower or storm. But just like what we've been saying over the last few days, it's not going to rain everywhere or rain all day. Here's the extended forecast for the Shoals and Sand Mountain. 96 for the Shoals in Thursday and Friday into the weekend. Low 90s for Sand Mountain. Extended forecast for Huntsville. Heat is going to be on as we head into the weekend with those high heat index values.
In world news, in France, hot winds are hampering efforts to contain wildfires that have scorched tens of thousands of acres. The heat in the UK is especially shocking to a country that is not prepared for this kind of weather, and people are looking for whatever relief they can find. A London airport had to suspend flights yesterday after part of the tarmac melted. Firefighters in Spain scrambling to put out dozens of wildfires, and meteorologists warn that parts of the country are now facing what they are calling a heat apocalypse.
In a country where not even an estimated 5% of homes have air conditioning, many residents and visitors are finding practical ways to stay cool.
There's air conditioning in the hotel.
Okay.
So, yeah, we rang ahead to make sure.
But global warming will only get worse. The future king is warning, if we don't.
Meanwhile, Russia's President Putin goes to Iran this morning seeking support for his war on Ukraine. And according to the White House, new drones.
As Russia steps up its rocket attacks on Ukraine, the human cost of the fighting is growing. Holly Williams has more from Kyiv, the Ukrainian capital.
Another fallen Ukrainian soldier carried on his final journey by his comrades in arms. Another mother caressing a casket. I didn't have a chance to kiss you goodbye, she says. Ukrainian fighters have been celebrated for their bravery in the face of Vladimir Putin's invasion. But it's left this country counting its dead and mired in grief. Ukraine's defiant resistance continues, aided by new, more powerful weapons from the US and its allies. But make no mistake, this war is costing thousands of Ukrainian lives, and there's no end in sight.
This war threatens to just devolve into a grinding war of attrition.
Colonel Andy Milburn served in the Marines, doing tours of duty in Iraq and Somalia. Now he's in Ukraine training frontline troops with a group of other retired US servicemen.
And we have only 5 days typically. If we're lucky, 2 weeks maximum to bring a guy who has never fired a weapon, never even handled a weapon, to where now he is in the front line. They're under, Russian artillery fire. So a lot of these guys getting killed and wounded without a chance really to do anything.
Draped in Ukraine's blue and gold flag, this soldier was buried with full military honours. The cost of Ukraine's courage is being paid in blood.
Ukraine's government won't tell exactly how many soldiers have been killed, but in May, President Volodymyr Zelensky said his country was losing 60 to 100 soldiers per day. Breaking news here at home. The man who died earlier today in a shooting near Bob Wallace Avenue in Huntsville has been identified. Madison County Coroner Tyler Berryhill says 63-year-old Larry Rice died from a gunshot wound this morning. He was pronounced dead on the scene when Huntsville police arrived. Huntsville police later found a vehicle that investigators believe to be involved in that shooting. One person was detained, but no suspects were taken into custody. This is an ongoing investigation, and we will keep you up to date on air, on WHNT.com, and our news app. Members of the House of Representatives are poised to vote on a bill that would protect same-sex and interracial marriage. Details on the political fallout from that's coming up on News 19 at 5.
A mentor in Charlotte is known for planting teenagers on the right path of success.
He does this by using a green thumb and a big heart. Mark Strassman has the story.
It's all about attitude. Let's just
even in 97-degree heat, hope flourishes in this quarter-acre organic garden.
when you take it home, share it with your family.
Reggie Singleton, a 60-year-old master gardener, founded the Mails Place in 2009. He teaches a couple dozen, mostly teenagers, life lessons about getting in the dirt and working up a sweat.
We're not a soft program.
What kind of values can you learn?
Sowing and reaping, sowing and reaping, sowing and reaping.
Gardening involves nutrients and fertilizer, patience and commitment.
It's not always sunshine and rainbows. Plants definitely take time to grow. It doesn't happen overnight.
Fruits and vegetables they reap, they sell at this farmer's market and replant profits in the program.
You should expect a bounty harvest, especially when you cultivate it and take care of it on a regular basis.
What are you really growing here?
We're growing men.
The real bumper crop is the boys themselves.
Absolutely.
These sweet potatoes, why not?
To bear fruit, that weed is not going to hoe itself.
These are the okra plants right here.
Mark Strassman, CBS News, Charlotte.
What a cool concept.
I know. Wish my thumbs were that green.
They're
not.
And I was just thinking about planting some sort of garden in my yard. I got to do it now that I moved here and I have a house.
So and reap.
You gonna teach me?
Yeah.
The 5 is next.